Right, it's pretty cold outside, so it's time to get inside and do some spannering. And actually, this is a little video that shouldn't take too long, that's been requested by a number of people, and what it is how to get the right tension on your chain, or how to adjust your chain on your Xadv. And actually, I've fettled around with it a little bit, and I think I found about the easiest way to do it. So you don't need many tools. So realistically, pretty much all you need is a 27mm socket or ring spanner. If you've got a ring spanner, one or the other. You're going to need something like a tape measure. Not necessarily, but it will help. Then you're going to need a 12mm and a 10mm open head spanners, so one of each. To make things a little bit more accurate, I actually use these, what are they called, Alvernia calipers or something like that. These are quite cheap, you know, 15, 20 quid, any tool shop or online you can get those if you wanted to be special about things like me. So get yourself some of them, and I'll show you how to use those on this particular task in a minute. And one other thing I've made myself is this little block of wood. And what this little block of wood will tell me is it's exactly 3 centimeters deep, and the way you measure the chain via the handbook is, I'll show you basically, there's a 1 point and another point, and it's 5 centimeters, but actually if you want to make it easier on yourself, there's 2 separate points I can show you in a second, where then it's only 3 centimeters. You could make yourself a little piece of wood like this, for example, and if you can squeeze that in there, then pretty much you've got it bang on as far as I'm concerned. Bear in mind, I'm not a professional mechanic and I don't really know what I'm doing. This is just my own personal point of view on this chain, on the 2025 Xadv, on my bike. Perhaps you've got a different idea about how to do it. I'm sure you do. Perhaps I'm doing it all wrong. Perhaps I am. You're more than welcome to let me know. I won't care either way. I'm going to carry on doing it my silly little way. So let's have a little look how you do it. Right, so any of you out there that watch all of my videos, you're going to know that I've got these little crash bobbins on the sides, well, on the front and the back of this particular bike. So the very first thing you need to do is take those off. And for me, it's quite simple. I have fettled around with these a little bit, and I've changed the internal. So my ones now are 2 13mm sockets. You just pop one in one end, pop one in the other end, undo them, and then just simply pull that out of the way. So that's the first thing I need to do. Now, bear in mind, if I'm sort of out on the road and I need to tighten my chain, these are extra tools that I'm going to need to bring with me, 2 sockets, 2 13mm sockets. So it might be that in the future I'm going to ditch these things, because I'm going to end up having to carry an awful lot of tools around with me for the sake of like a few scuffs on my bike, which, you know, if I do fall off, I'm probably going to be scuffing it elsewhere in any case. So we'll see about that. But that's the first thing. Right, the next thing that you're going to need to do is this. So when you buy the bike, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get this sort of weird chain guard protector thing that fits on the bike there. Now, with this method, I dare say you can leave this on to do so. The reason why I took it off was to fit this Xadv or Xadv rear hugger thing, which if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that it's a bit naff, and as you can see, it doesn't really keep your bike all that clean, if I'm honest. So at some point in the near future, I'm probably going to take that off, and what I plan to do is use this original piece and probably cut this section off somewhere here to remove this bit here, purely because then I've got better access for cleaning and lubing the chain along this little bit here, because I think the easiest place to lube it is about there. So anyway, that's going to be in another video. For now, let's just show you how I adjust the chain. Right, I'm trying something new here, head cam. Right, so let's give it a go. So we've got, to recap, we've got our 27mm, we've got our vernier calipers, we've got a 10mm, 12mm spanner. Perhaps you're going to use one of those, tape measure, and my little 3cm block. And I've just got a dirty old rag as well to help me out. So the first thing you want to do is loosen the 27mm over this side. And it is just a case of loosening it. You don't want to be completely taking it off or undoing it completely. The next thing you want to do is hold on to those 10mm and then crack off the little 12 and wind that out, well, at least some way, so you've got a bit of wiggle room. Same on this side. It's getting a bit tight in here. So hold that one. This one goes up. I'll get on it. There we go. And just loosen that off as well. Now we'll just loosen that way. Now, this is what happens. So when the 10mm nut, when you wind that in, I'm hoping you can see this, the chain will slacken off. So the more you wind it in, the more this part slides towards the bike and the more slack the chain will get. So when you wind it back out, you should literally see that chain moving up and down there, look. See that? Hope you can. Now what I do is take this little wooden block and I slide in at the bottom of this U-bend in there, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this, when you pull tension on the chain downwards like this, down that way, we want this block to be tight in there. At the moment it just needs to go a little tiny bit somewhere there. So look, it's just holding onto that block now, right at the bottom of that U. Now if I take that out, that should be about right according to the booklet. Now what I do at this point, holding the 10mm, get the 12mm up into position. So where's my 12mm spanner gone? She's over this side. Got that. So I can just nip him up like so. That's holding that one. Now get me vernier calipers and just whiz them in between there and there. Now I've got an exact size that I can mirror on the other side. What you could do is you could use a tape measure and do it by eye, but I find if I'm in the workshop, then this is what I'll be doing. Now what you want to do is pull the wheel all the way back. You see that's moving. So I think what they do in the trade is they just jam that in there. That pulls the wheel back into the right position. And then you can get your calipers in there. And I can see that I need to just wind that 10mm out a little bit. And there we go, she's perfect now. So hold the 10mm into position. Wind the 12 in, nip him up, and it's just a little nip. Take my rag back out, get my 27, pop him back on, do him up, and you see that that's spinning. If I just give it a little like that, it will come tight, and then it's just a little nip up somewhere there, and that's it. That's your chain tensioned. You can then check it if you want again with your little 3cm spacer, making sure that you pull the chain down tight with your fingers, and then that's how it wants to be. It wants to be when the chain is tight. It wants to have a 3cm gap in between there. The way they measure it in the guidebook is they measure it with a 5cm gap between this point here and the centre of the chain. Or is it the centre of the chain or the bottom of the chain? I think it is. So if I pull that down tight, that is, by my eye, exactly 5cm. So that's where this little 3cm block comes in handy. And there you go. Wipe your dirty fingers off on your dirty rag. Put your tools away. Right, so I suppose that concludes my version of how I adjust my chain on my 2025 Xadv. Of course, I'm sure there's going to be lots of other people saying that I'm doing it wrong or right or whatever it is. I don't really mind. That's up to you to decide. But as far as I'm concerned, that works for me, the way I do it. If, for example, you've got any tips to give me, please put them in the comments down below and I'll read them. And if I'm definitely doing it wrong, I shall scrap this video and we'll do a new one showing the correct way. But as far as I'm concerned, this is it. Not the correct way, but it's the right way for me. Now, firstly, thanks ever so much to everyone for watching my videos, liking and commenting. But there's this new thing called hype. So if you're watching this video on a mobile phone device, and this only works on mobile phones, not on your laptops, not on your PCs and not on your TVs, when you like my video or any video from a content creator that is quite small, so I think it's between 1,000 and 100,000 subscribers, YouTube has added this thing in called hype. And what that is if you like it and then the hype button comes in and you click the hype button, all the hype points that I get go towards me growing my channel. Now this only works within the first 7 days of videos going live, as far as I'm aware. So if you are watching this video and you would like to like my video and subscribe if you haven't done already, and then hype the video, with a bit of luck that will help me grow much faster, and as I grow be able to make more interesting content and be more stuff for you guys to watch. So anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.